Hello peoples, welcome back to another episode of World of Warcraft Dungeon Progression Challenge. Today is episode 38 where I start Lich King Dungeons. Let's see. As you can see, I'm here in Northrend, finally, yay! Starting off with Utgarde Keep in Howling Fjord. Of course, I'll have to go to the opposite extreme end of the continent for the next one. Oh well. So here it is, Utgarde Keep. Utgarde Pinnacle is also part of this area here, but to get into Utgarde Keep, you just head into the southern entrance part and head in from there. It might have been more difficult to figure out which dungeons were where. Like if it were set this to normal, if it were Auchindoun, for example, there are 4 dungeons right in that place. Okay, now let's see how many I can get through in one episode. Hopefully at least 2, because 1 I can definitely do. It's kind of short. And 2, yeah, probably, as long as I pick up the pace. So, Utgarde Keep, 3 bosses. Not much, you head in, a bunch of trash. It's pretty linear. I mean, there's a couple, like, kind of passages you can run into. Oh, little tip here. To pass by the firewalls here, just attack the Forge Master and you'll stop fanning the flames or powering the furnace, whatever he's doing. Groups like to go around this way, but I think you can actually get the one on this side. Yes, it's much faster. You only have to clear 1 group instead of 2. You know what? I think I'm going to forego getting greens at all for the rest of the challenge. So, what is Dungeon Progression Challenge? It is taking a naked max level character and going through all the World of Warcraft dungeons up to Cataclysm's Dragon Soul raid. You can even clear them in any or all difficulties just to see how far you can get. I've got more info in the description. I've also made a couple of adjustments to where it would more suit the way I'm going through this. Like I said, it's pretty linear, except for like this little passage here. There's nothing in there. It'll just instead go up the stairs. Whoops. Ran right into the wall. I was looking at the map. Duh. Now, first boss, Prince Keleseth, he's got a pretty big aggro radius, so you might want to pull these 4 trash first away before he aggroes. Nope, can't use it. Well, I can, but I won't, because it's male and it's got agility. Not really an upgrade for me. How are we doing on time? I'm at 3 minutes. Pretty good. So I'm estimating 3 minutes per boss, maybe? Maybe 2. Depends on where the next one is. The next one is upstairs. Just up 1 set of stairs. Trash is pretty much all the same throughout the whole place. Ow. Thank you. Always wanted to be stunned. No, really. Oh, here it is. The Rune Casters. They will either cast a fire shield or a immunity shield. Now those shields can be dispelled or spell stolen by a mage. And you can always interrupt them. One thing about the fire shield though, it damages nearby enemies over time, and it does hurt quite a bit if you're running this at the appropriate level. So watch out for that, and you know, just a general tip. If you're getting low on health, just step away from the mobs until the healer manages to catch up. Then you can feel free to run back in and get your health taken down once again. Rinse and repeat. Or you could just try to stun and interrupt things like you were meant to. Okay, second boss is Scarvald the Constructor and Dalaran the Controller. This is an interesting fight in that when you kill one, he turns into a spirit or ghost. And you can still damage him, but he doesn't die. Well, of course, he's already dead. So what you have to do is just kill the live version of the other boss. Upgrade? No. It's a one-handed even. So, you're basically fighting the both of them until they both die. And if you kill one right away, like you focus them down, then you still have to deal with them while you take care of the other one. So for the whole fight, you're fighting 2 bosses. Here's the little passage thing I was talking about. Okay, now we got quite a lot of trash here already. It's getting kind of noisy and busy. Any greens for me? Cloth hands? Ooh, yes, I'll take those, sure, for my spells. I'm going to cast Magic Missile as a warrior. Here's another little overlook thing. I think this overlooks the second boss. Scarvald and Dalron. Yeah, there they are. Haha, you guys. Flat on the floor. Doing pretty good on time. I can definitely do another run, which will be Nexus, right after this in Koldara. Die, little rat thing. And one thing I like about this next area... Hey, Tears Terrace. Nice. The one thing I like about this next area is that you can mount up and actually, speed things along. I don't know if people would do this at this level it is. Usually they just run in on foot, clear that. And this guy flies in. He came out. Careful not to try to run fast because some people might not be as, well, quick to run in, and then they'll pull it from, and they'll aggro from behind and start killing everybody, and yes, lots of fun. Okay, and straight up ahead is last boss, Ingvar the Plunderer. I'm just going to run ahead, line of sight around this, if it actually does provide line of sight, and wait for everything to show up so I can defeat them all. Oh no, he's actually able to target me. No problem, I can line of sight behind these pillars, which is actually part of the fight. And it looks like everybody. Oh yeah, one thing I was keen to try out was to see if any of the trash would be a challenge yet. Pretty sure the raids will be challenged, but I haven't seen anything so far in the dungeons. Not yet anyway. I mean, that's to be expected because I just started. So Ingvar the Plunderer has a few abilities. He's got a shout, shockwave. It's actually got a cast time, so when he starts casting that, you can just sidestep it. Or, actually, I don't remember if it has a cast time. If it does, you can just sidestep it, and if it doesn't, just don't stand in front of him. Let the tank eat it. And, like I said, he has a shout. And when he's resurrected into a undead, the first thing he'll do is the shout. So what players will do, usually, if they're familiar with it, is line of sight the dreadful roar behind the pillar. And you want to avoid getting hit by it because it does like a 4-second stun, something like that. I can just look it up. How wrong or right was I? Phase 2 Dark Smash, that's the shockwave attack. Shadow Axe, that's a... Oh yeah, he throws an axe on the ground that will damage players who are standing in it. Interrupt spells cast for 8 seconds. Ouch. Stack up to 40 times. Okay, that's crazy. Can't imagine this 5-man fight lasting that long. And this is something he casts on a single player. Oh, that sucks. Healer. When the target is healed, the healer takes damage. Okay, and you can just hop down here for a quick exit straight to the entrance of the dungeon. Now, onto the Nexus. Well, that only took, well, almost forever. For me, anyways. For you, it's just a couple seconds. So the Nexus is found within this large magical tower in Koldara. It's actually inside this thing, and now there are actually 3 instances inside here. First is the Nexus on the bottom, the next one above is the Oculus, and farther above that is the Eye of Eternity raid, 10 or 25 man. Alright, let's jump into the Nexus, get things started. Think this will be the other episode, the other dungeon I can run in this episode. Now the Nexus is not exactly linear. There are a couple of conditions that you need to meet before actually finishing. You have to defeat Ormorok, Anomalous, and Grand Magus Telestra in order to release Kiristraza from the prison in there. Now, the path I'm going to take is just what players usually tend to take. I guess you could go any way you like. Maybe this way is the fastest that players have found out. I'm not sure, I haven't tested it. I mean, I could. But, this does work out pretty well. you know, even if it is not that good. Well, okay. So, start off, head in, head left, stick to the left, and you come to this hallway where there's a bunch of Horde/Alliance trash, frozen ice, depending on which faction you're playing. And the first boss will be the Horde Commander. I think he actually has a name in heroic difficulty. Commander Kolurg. Does he drop loot on regular difficulty? He does not. That's interesting. Well, moving on. See ya. Oh yeah, and there's a quest item in that hallway, so don't forget to pick it up. It's a little book on the ground. I think it's pretty close to the boss, or just before. Moving up the next hallway, you got a bunch of casters. They'll do silence and ice block on you. More like a deep freeze. Now this trash group, you might want to pull it out a bit before you kill it, because Telestra there has kind of a slightly big aggro radius. Cannot use that. Stamina boots. It is plates, but stamina doesn't really do much for me. Die. Well, that was easy. Now, normally Telestra adds half health, or actually, I don't think it's half health, but it's every third of her health, 66% and 33%, she will split into 3 mirror images of herself. You defeat them, and then she reappears. Pretty easy to deal with. And the achievement on heroic difficulty, of course, is to, what is it? Defeat them all within a certain time. I wonder if I can look it up quickly. Glory of Raider Hero. Where is it? Raider Hero Raider. Maybe it's down farther. Oh, here it is. Here we count. Rocks. To your work. I'll find it. Give me just like 10 years. It's called, oh, this is the dungeon, but it's not arranged. Here it is, split personality. Within 5 seconds of the first one dying. Okay. So you come out into the rift area. Careful, you can fall off here. So make sure you're not looking up achievements while you're making your way through the trash. Now you can descend on this ramp here, but players actually, well, I guess most 99% of the time, they just jump off here and fight that. And if you've got a pet like Voidwalker, Felguard, Hunter Pet, whatever, make sure they're on passive or dismissed or something so that they don't pull the rest of this trash. Funny thing, these like 2 mobs, they aren't there in heroic. Like, I don't know, just interesting to note. Just one small difference between heroic and normal. Usually you don't have much differences, well, any differences in trash. Okay, next boss, Anomalous. He puts up a shield at half health. There you go, in the form of a chaotic rift, so once that's destroyed, you are free to damage him again. Also, periodically he'll summon more rifts that will summon, I guess, arcane wraiths. Things like that, and you know, the more of those things that are up, the harder it will be to deal with. Particularly for the healer. And you don't want an upset healer. Now, moving on to the next place. Players like to jump off of here, and also I like to watch players try to jump off of here without looking. You know the saying, look before you leap. And so they think they can make the jump, or they're not aware of this and they fall down to their deaths. It's kind of funny, especially after all this time. It's chaotic rifts, they also summon, you know, wraiths or whatever they're called, along with the trash, not just the boss, Anomalous. It's just to teach you, I guess, a little bit apart about the fight. Now, this next area, the Singing Grove, you want to make your way across this way to get to Umarok. This little path might look like you can get there, get to him from there, but you can't. So when you enter, just stick to the left and follow, I guess, the rest of the tunnel. It looks like a tunnel. Oh, and the annoying thing about this is Crystalline Keeper. Hey, he's not doing it. This one? This one. There it is. Crystal Bark has a chance to stun attackers. Oh, it really sucks for melee. Alright, so one last thing before I head into Umarok. There he is, way in the back. I got upgrade boots, wrist, and belt from Sunwell in the last raid I did. Picked those up, and I got the pieces. Where is it? Boots, belts, and wrist. And I also still have the shoulders, chest, and legs, so I got the full onslaught set. Onslaught. But these 3 pieces are not as good as what I have on. Oh yeah, fun thing about this little hallway, you can kill these little crystalline frayers, and they'll give you a passive regeneration buff, 4% health and 2% mana every 2 seconds. So you can pretty much face roll your way all the way through here. Omorok doesn't do much. He's got a frenzy at low health, and he's got this thing where he shoots spikes across the floor outward from himself, and after a second or two they will erupt from the ground, shooting players who are standing in it upwards. Whee! There you go. I think that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and he's got a spell reflect. Oh yeah, these just had to be intellected, didn't they? Okay, and actually, a quick exit from Omorok. Just head up the tunnel behind him. The first few times I fought him, like way back in Wrath, I didn't know this was even here. Actually, I don't even remember how I left him. Left the boss area. So you jump down and head to the left. If you go this way, this is back where you came into the Singing Grove. That's what this place is called. Some groups try to skip this crystalline protector by hugging this corner here, so make sure you do that, or if you don't want a chance of people pulling it, you may as well pull it anyway. I mean, it's only trash. Trash isn't hard. Oh yeah, and these patrols, they have a large aggro radius, so you want to make sure they're far away or not going to walk into you, or you're going to have the same problem with someone lagging a bit behind and pulling stuff, and yeah, it's going to be a mess. So now that you've defeated the 3 main bosses, in addition to the Horde or Alliance commander, you can click these containment spheres, each one corresponding to the bosses. And when you click the 3rd one, Karastraza becomes attackable. Or actually, she automatically starts attacking you. So the thing about this fight is an intense cold debuff is constantly applied to you every few seconds. Decreases your cast time and movement and does damage per second. What people don't know is you can jump, move, I think that's it. Side to side, back and forward, jump. So you can do that to remove all the stacks that you've got, which is especially useful once she does like a Frost Nova on the entire party. Also, being a dragon, she does a breath and anything else. Breath, Frost Nova, and she's got a frenzy at low health. I'm on heroic, but it should be the same. Abilities, Enrage, 25% health. Oh yeah, Tail Sweep. So please do not spin the boss. It's very annoying. I thought she guys didn't loot for me. The last few bosses didn't. Ugh. I need upgrades. Okay then, this has been episode 30 something of Dungeon Progression Challenge 38. If you like this video, leave a like, and if you want to follow along with this series or anything else on my channel, you can subscribe as well. Okay, next time I'm going to do Azrael Narob and Ankahet the Old Kingdom. Till then, be well, stay well, and farewell.